shadows where the whispers dwell, always trying to unring the bell. The red road calls a path less known, with haunted streets where the eerie winds moan. Creatures lurking just beyond the light, not just tales spun to frighten the night. The masquerade of ghosts, they walk along in this gritty realm. We're all too young. Take the red road, let the spirits unfold. Follow RezNeck, Calkins, let the mysteries be told. Through the dark we'll weave into the unknown, with each step we take closer to home.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite RezNeck here. Welcome back to Red Road Paranormal. First, I'm gonna ask Gwen to pop up here with me for a quick second. So Gwen, please pop up. Hello.
Hey.
There she is. So, if y'all have a fan of Monster Quest like I am, this lady was just on there Friday night. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Gwen? Little shameless.
Well, I don't want to give out my whole story, but I had a little thing happen to me when I was young, and I told my story, and it got picked, and I went and filmed, and it came out, and the reenactment was awesome.
Nice.
I
You're
don't want to give it
so
away.
famous.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But you know what? It was fun. I enjoyed it. The story is only a little bit of the story. So.
Hey,
Just
Brandon.
a little snippet of it.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was. Thank you, Lee. I know Lee watched it, so thank you, Lee. It was cool. It was fun. Michael,
yeah, I love seeing our friends kind of get up there and do things out of the ordinary and have big adventures. So awesome! I just want to make sure people know to tune into Monster Quest, check it out. Yep. Not only do we have you from the network that's on there, Luciana's on there, we have Blaine on there, and our good friend Brandon Cooper. Anybody else I'm missing?
I don't think I know any, but watch all of them, because all of them have been really good, whether we're on it or not. Support, watch them all if you can. That'd be great.
Yep. So, all right. So, all right. So I'll let you get back to your back of the house duties. Thank you.
All right.
So tonight we have Mr. Mike Schwanke. So fine and proper the sir is. He's become a good friend of mine over the last few months. Talk a lot, so I figured it'd be very interesting, and hopefully you guys enjoy some of the conversation we have. Why don't you bring him on up, Mike?
Good evening.
How are we doing today?
Having a fantastic evening so far, Bob. How are you?
I'm loving it. So now you're telling me a little bit where you're at. Would you like to explain the ambiance you decided to use for a backdrop tonight?
I am actually in the basement of my home, and my home is over a century old. I'm actually going to go behind the camera here for a second and pull it back so you can see sort of what it looks like here in my basement, so everyone gets an idea. I've got some of my toys sitting around that I make. I do make REM pod toys, so my basement, as you can see, is sort of neat. Alrighty.
Sounds like the basements I normally get stuck to go down and play in.
Well, the good thing is, with my basement, my spirits know me, and they're very friendly.
Oh yeah. So look at this guy. He's a snazzy dresser at that too. You know, I need that shirt.
I enjoy it greatly. I probably have about 20 shirts like this of different sort of paranormal themes.
Nice, nice. So now you already mentioned you make REM pods and toys and stuff like that. Want to elaborate a little more on that?
Sure. I got tired of buying equipment that didn't work, that cost my right arm.
Right.
So I spent actually several months researching how to make my own REM pod. So what I make is extremely basic. It's an on-off REM pod, but I can sell my REM pods for like $45, where other people are charging a whole lot more for a REM pod than I am. Then it hit me after about a year, like, why aren't I putting these in trigger objects? And that's when I started stuffing them into toys. I became Dr. Frankenstein. I just take a knife, I look for a victim, chop them open, and stuff them full of something else.
Well, I got an idea for you. I want a Jack in the Box that still works, that pops open when you get a strong enough hit. Think that's possible?
Not with what I do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you're going to have to find a different builder than I to do that.
All right. Well, hey, putting it out to everyone. I want a Jack in the Box REM pod.
Right on.
Let's see what happens.
Now, here, I am a bit of a patriotic guy. So pause 1 second here as I pick something up.
Okay.
And this is one of my REM pods. This is my patriotic bear.
Oh, that's cute.
This is how my REM pods work. But this is what this wonderful little bear is very. It will sing the entire song.
Cool.
So this is one that I just built not long ago. I haven't tested it on a site yet, but I'm looking to go to maybe a retired American Legion or something like that to take this in and see if I get a response.
American Legion or even a school because it's a teddy bear.
That's true.
All kids love teddy bears.
But
I know a location you can try it at.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'll set you back in your crib.
Right.
All right.
And what's that other device you got to you over your shoulder there that's lighting up?
This over here, this is my investigation kit that I sell. I put cat balls in it. I put K2s in it, REM pod in it, battery tester, and I sell those starting at $120.
Okay.
You literally can start out with your own investigation kit for $120. Put it in this little case that's easy to carry everything, and away you go.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Keep the cost down, so that way more folks can get into the field and have some fun.
Right. Our toys are so dang expensive, you know, when you start buying them everywhere.
Exactly.
You know, I know teams that have $20,000, $30,000 in equipment, and that's just the equipment alone. That's not including cameras. That's not including everything else that it takes to go out and do what we do.
Exactly. And I have some of those expensive pieces myself, but at one point I simply said, when's enough enough? When am I going to stop buying things? And then, of course, when you buy from someone who you think you're getting a good product from and you find out it's not, that changes the game too.
Yes.
A few years ago, there was a dealer out of Florida that got hit by a hurricane and had all of his stuff in tents, and it got flooded. Well, he still put his REM pods together and sold them after they were flooded.
That's not good.
It didn't last very long. About 4 months after that is when he went out of business. But you got to be careful when you're buying some of this stuff. Make sure you know the person you're buying it from is making a quality product that's worth your dollar.
Exactly. And I'm always scared to buy new equipment from new makers. So you never know what's going to work right, if it's going to be, hold up to the test of time. We spend our good hard-earned money on this stuff.
I'm telling you. And one of the good things is when you network with other investigators like this, you can ask them, hey, that piece of equipment, who'd you get that from? I mean, that's what I did with several of my pieces. Out in Gettysburg, I went to Gettysburg this summer, and I found a wonderful dead bell out there that I bought. And simply because, one of the people at the con says, I hunt with that continuously. And they stand behind their product, and by their personal word and getting along with them, took their advice. I bought it. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, actually, I have a friend of mine who's got a dead bell. We used it on a couple of locations together, and I get crazy. We've got crazy activity with it. I've had nothing but good things to say about the dead bell that he's got. I'm looking to add one to my collection, hopefully in the near future. Wow. Just like I like the REM candles too. I've had good luck with them.
Yeah. I'm currently doing a true crime paranormal documentary of a mass murder site that is here in Indiana.
Okay.
And one of the victims' skulls is still available. So we took 2 dead bells and put one at each end of the case that holds the skull. And it started setting off the individual dead bells when asked. So
Okay.
it was absolutely amazing. I
Cool.
can't
Cool.
get into details because it's not out yet, of course, but by fall that will be released, and that is going to be extremely interesting.
Looking forward to it. So, what got you into this field of the paranormal? What really?
My
Girlfriend
girlfriend
got you.
Jessica, she always stayed in it, and I avoided it like the plague for about the last 25 years.
Okay.
I grew up with the paranormal. My mother was a practicing witch. It didn't get pleasant at times. So
Right.
at that point, when she abandoned us children at age 10 and seeing the bad stuff of it, I tried my very best to avoid it. Then lo and behold, here I am about 5 years ago. My girlfriend's watching all these ghost hunting shows, and I'm like staying far away from it. And she says, "Will you please take me to this convention?" And we went to one of the most infamous paracons in history, DeadCon in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
All right.
Any of us that went to DeadCon will tell you it was the biggest con scam we've ever seen. They had an unbelievably wonderful lineup of entertainers, mediums. It was packed, loaded with dozens and dozens of wonderful people. Mikey Alsop, I see you lurking.
Hey, Mikey.
And we found out real quick that DeadCon was all wrong. No public, all these famous people, and nobody running the show. So I got to meet on that weekend, I would say 70% of the major ghost show hosts on television. And it sort of woke me up. And I'm like, wow, these are all just normal people breathing the same air. I started a relationship with some of these folks that, on TV. I still have these relationships today. I started hunting with Jessica, and we started our own group. Have our own little YouTube channel called Spirit Hunters Team that we did our bounce around adventures with before we knew how to film and edit and everything else. Boy, towards the end, though, Jessica was getting really, really good at the film editing. I was so impressed with what she started to do. But then real life called. It's like, hey, here's money. Go run 2 stores, and you got to go to real life.
Yeah.
You got to pay the bills.
Exactly.
But we went around for a couple of years with our little team, and I was blessed to have on my own personal team, every single member had paranormal abilities. And that made the investigations so incredibly fun. I had an Afghan war veteran. I had one of my classmates that I've known for 40 years that literally he's a native like you, very much so, and very in tune with the paranormal. His sister then joined in, and we just had a great little team, and we went out, and with everyone being able to get the feels, of what we played off each other. I mean, if I walked into a location, grabbed my kit, turned to Stoney and said, "Stoney, go put these wherever you think something's about to happen." 90% of the time, it would take less than 15 minutes for whatever he set down would start reacting. He just had the feeling of where to go. So, and Steve, in Afghanistan, Steve got blown up. And unfortunately, the fellow that was with him next to him didn't survive the explosion. Steve, from that point forward, is just so attuned to the supernatural that, I mean, his abilities are natural and it sort of scares him. So he doesn't quite know what to do with it. But he's the kind of guy that if you hand him a camera and tell him, "Hey, we need to focus on this," he can't. because he'll keep pulling that camera one way or another. And he'll be like, Steve, what's going on? Then lo and behold, go review that camera evidence the next day. And you're going to see things on that camera that drew him that he didn't even know why.
Yep.
Yet they're there. So
that's awesome.
I'm telling you, and it's fun when you meet people that you take for the first time and you don't realize what's going to happen with them, and then it clicks and you're like, whoa.
Yep. I've had the opportunity to work with several different investigators now, and it's amazing when you do have that chemistry.
Yeah.
With that team or that person, it's a feeling unlike nothing else. When you start finishing each other's sentences, or you're wanting to go one way and they're already heading that way before you know it, before you say anything.
Exactly.
To be that in tune was awesome.
Oh yeah.
It
Steve is always so fun because Steve is completely genuine. Every emotion on his face is I mean, it comes out. He can't stop it. I mean, if something's disturbing him, you can tell. If something's humoring him, you can tell. Or if something's really got him like irked or something, you know that too. But on one of our very first investigations, I showed him the flashlight technique, how to use a flashlight in an investigation. A lot of folks don't go old school and they've never tried it. So we were actually at Whispers Estates, and we were in a room that just got real quiet. It was doing nothing. So after about 15 minutes, I'm like, I'm going to go old school. Let's set up a flashlight. And of course, Steve's there and he's like, well, what are you doing? What's that supposed to do? And I said, well, Steve, the theory is you set it so it's just barely not lit. And you set it down and you ask the entity to please turn it on. And boom, the light turned on when I said that. And I went, like that.
Yep.
And his reaction was perfect. And thank goodness we did catch it on video, because he goes, no way.
Right.
Isn't it wonderful when you get somebody that's new and that, things like that happen, and their eyes get real big.
Yeah. I've had people question different things that are on the shows or on investigations I've done. They go, is that really real? Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then when you actually have the raw footage on your phone or something like that, and you whip it up and go, this is what was going on. And they go, oh crap.
Oh, yeah.
I got an EVP that freaks people up that I, pull out from a private investigation I was on years ago, cold case, and it clear as day, you hear a little girl's voice in it. There is no children, nobody else around at all.
Yep.
And it's just hilarious. I was just talking to someone last night, up at the casino. We stayed at the casino for my son's birthday up in Michigan, and someone came to me. I gave him a business card for I forgot why. And they're like, is some EVP things, is that legit? Well, yeah. And I'm like, here's one. And you watch the face and everything just kind of just blanked out.
Yeah.
You're like, holy crap.
Well,
so definitely.
When I was setting up the basement tonight, I had Mike Alsep on a video call much like this as I'm setting up. And he goes, whoa, I just think an orb went flying behind you. And I'm like, it very well could have, Mike.
Yeah.
Because I do know that there are spirits in my house, and I do know there are spirits in this basement.
I feel like you have an elderly woman hanging out there with you, kind of watching over you.
There may well could be.
I'm thinking she's from more like the land or the house. She's not yours per se, but she watches over you.
Okay.
Yeah, just a weird feeling.
Well, my friend, one of these days when you're down here and you come to my house, I think you'll enjoy it, because there's nothing here that gives you any bad vibes, but there's nothing here that you're not alone.
Yeah. Well, I know there's nothing bad there. We've had enough conversations via video chat that if there was something there, I probably would have picked up on it if I was something negative or evil or whatever you want to classify it as. But yeah, I know there's a whirlwind of things that goes on around there. That I can tell. This is the first time where I actually had something just blatantly come out and say, there's a female there.
Very cool. Hello, whoever you are. Were you the one setting the lights off earlier? If you were, thank you. That was really cool when you did that.
It'd be nice if you could do it again. Let everyone see.
I mean, you could turn on anything over here. There's several of the cat balls. There's the K2. Anything you might want to do.
Yeah. And you got to do it right this second. Anytime that we're talking, go right ahead. No time limit on spirit. We can't get humans to do things, repetitively over and over again. How do we expect the spirit to do it?
You're absolutely correct there.
That's one thing that cracks me up about, science and the paranormal. How many humans are going to do tricks over and over again?
That's true.
Spirits won't.
That's right. They do it when they want to.
Right. Hey, Jenny, how you doing? See Jenny Davis popping into the chats there.
I hope you're feeling better.
So
a lot of problems going on with pain, and hopefully she's going to get that taken care of here.
Hopefully, we all pray for her.
Absolutely.
You've been to a lot of these locations, quote unquote, pay to play places,
oh yeah, I've been to quite a few.
What was the most scariest, one that made your skin crawl?
Nothing made my skin crawl per se.
Okay.
Where did I get the most apparitions? That would probably be Joliet Prison.
Okay, one of the places on my bucket list.
I did that with Dave Schrader, Chris Fleming, and Shane Pittman.
That would have been a couple of years ago, right?
That was 23. I think I did it with them.
Okay, I think I remember they when they were advertising that one.
Yep, that was a good time. The most active place I've ever been was Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne. Without a doubt. Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne was unbelievable. I was probably there 15 times.
Okay.
And it got to the point that it was crazy. In the basement, there was a little girl who was a burn victim. And by our third time there, she knew my name and she knew Jessica's name. It would call us out. And I mean, it was like, whoa. So that place was amazing.
There's a theory that goes around that the spirit knows we're coming there before we even do. They know way ahead of time. So that doesn't surprise me that after a few interactions, they knew you guys' name and knew that, you're okay and you're good people.
Right on. But yeah, that was amazing. We brought someone home from there too. It appeared to be male. Had that person here in our house for probably 3 weeks and knew that it was a new spirit and knew where we were when we acquired it. So when we went back, it's like, hey, we're going back to the Bell and we need to take you back to where you belong. And sure enough, we went back to the Bell and that never had that reaction again in the house from that particular entity. So it went back.
Yep. You always got to make sure you set your boundaries when you're on vacations. When you go to vacations, on investigations, well, investigations like vacations for me, right?
Yeah.
But set your boundaries. Let them know that you're there to interact with them there, and they're not allowed to follow you. They're not allowed to come home with you. And there are certain circumstances that some do allow that to happen, but be careful because if you're not in tune to what's around you, you don't know what you're bringing home.
You are so right there. And
very dangerous.
Absolutely. New people are like, oh, yes, I'm open and whatever you want to do. I'm like, no. No.
Yeah, it's not a smart way to go about it.
I have been with seasoned investigators that have tried to do their own seance-like things and end up with I'm open, use me if you want. And next thing you know, they're squeezing at their chest as they feel like a vice and so on and so forth. I've seen this happen twice now. So my advice is you never, ever tell something that you don't know what it is that they can use you. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't allow it to attach because that's when you're given the invitation or the right, the RITE right, for it to access your personal space, your sacred space.
No
Uh,
thanks.
and as you know, a medium or a sensitive, that's some of the things that I think about anytime I go out. How much of the shield are you willing to let down? Is
Right.
this place safe to do that, to let it all out? And there's a lot of times where a lot of my shield per se is up. Even though I'm picking up on things, I'm not fully opening up to that location because you never know what's lurking around the corner.
Exactly.
And I know darkness, has a tendency to run from me. But if you look at it like that, if it's running now, it's just looking for a point, a weak link in that armor, a kink in that armor where it can get in. So you always got to kind of, play by the rules, I guess, and
Yep.
know when's enough is enough. And I think that's where these young investigators, they don't understand it. They think it's all
Fun and games.
fun and games, and no, it's a little more serious than that.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you hope that they don't find out the hard way.
Right.
I even have a friend who is a exorcist, and on his first exorcism, he ended up with a fractured sternum. So
Believe it.
I'm just here to say, folks, you may want to try things or do things, but sometimes what you run into is going to be more powerful than what you could ever believe. And it's going to happen at a time when you're at your weakest.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind, folks, as you investigate on your own, or even with seasoned investigators. Look at the lines that can be crossed and should be crossed and make a good decision.
Yeah, don't be an adrenaline junkie on this one.
No.
That's where a lot of people get into it because they want to be scared. As human nature, we pay to get scared every year, whether we go to the movies or we go out to haunted attractions at Halloween time. It's something in our nature and our culture that we like that, and it's an adrenaline rush.
Yep.
So you gotta be careful with that, especially in the paranormal. Let's see what Jamie's got a comment.
Difference between a ghost hunt and a paranormal investigation. Those who want to ghost hunt are out there looking for a thrill. Those who are paranormal investigating realize that there are things that they need to watch and be patient for.
Yeah, you're out there looking for answers. You're not out there just for the fun.
Right.
My goal is to be a voice for the voiceless and leave something behind for future generations to learn from.
Absolutely.
And if we're not taking care of it and leading the charge now, I feel sorry for the future.
Folks, if you're looking for the fun, cheap thrill, go to the haunted house and get the jump scare that you're looking for.
Yeah.
When you're on a paranormal investigation, you're not going to get a jump scare unless it's from someone else that's there as a visitor. It's not going to be your entities.
Yeah. So I see Mr. Bill Walters jumped into the chat. That's my buddy. You guys get down to Broadhead this year. Get some of Bill's nuts. They're delicious.
That's true.
Yeah.
Bill's nuts are delicious, and I've already had a bag.
Sweet and salty. So I seen Jamie Lynn had a comment in there. She has some stuffed animals that she needs to get to you to turn into REM pods.
Well, I'm here for you, girl.
All right.
Next time we get together, you let me know. Let's plan it in advance. We're going to be in the same spot, and I'll give you a hand with that.
Well, we'll just have to drag you up here to Wisconsin sometime in the near future and make an arrangement to meet up with her.
That sounds like a plan.
We'll get you this state. I'll come on down. We'll all meet up for lunch or something.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I got plans for you, Mr. Bobbi. Yes, sir. I got
a
couple things in mind for you. We're going to have some fun later on this year.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm always looking for some shenanigans to get into.
Yes. We're going to have some fun shenanigans coming up.
Looking forward to it.
I have at least 2 things in mind for you, but if my heart desire happens, it'll be 3 things for sure this year. if I get my heart's desire.
Well, if we can figure out how to get the paranormal to pay, I'll quit my job tomorrow and we'll start.
Gosh, wouldn't that be nice to be able to just do this all the time?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it takes a while.
Oh yeah. You got to put your dues in, just like any other field of interest or any industry. You have to pay your dues and learn and progress.
What do you think was probably the most shocking thing that you have seen so far when you've been investigating?
I really haven't seen anything shocking. Now, I did hear a disembodied voice on an investigation that was loud, just like we're talking right now. It was this loud, this clear. It didn't transfer over to camera that well, but you could see the shock on my face. That's got to be, from an investigating point of view, the most shocking moment I've had. But you got to realize, growing up, I lived in haunted houses.
Yeah.
And the ones that weren't haunted had spirit activity because my parents were mediums, and they knew that they could get a message through that way. We had houses where literally the ghosts in the attic would walk down the stairs to the door, knock on the door, and if my parents said go ahead and pass through, you hear the door handle jiggle because the attic door was in their room. You hear the door handle jiggle, and then that was it.
Yep.
If you said leave us alone or not now, you hear them stomp their asses right back up the stairs like they were little kids and pissed.
I lived in a very similar house, an old farmhouse down here in Wheatfield, Indiana. And we had an upstairs apartment that was never finished in this 2-story. And the entity would go up and down the stairwell where they had a paneling wall made at the end of the stairwell. And when we would return home, we would see the curtains in the upper apartment move as we were being watched. And every time the activity was happening, we would smell hairspray.
Interesting.
And this was one that, again, much like you just described, if we were beat and needed to rest and it was making noise, we would simply say, hey, look, we got to get up in the morning. Will you please just stop? Sure enough, done. I mean, very, very nice entity. We believe it was female, and man, very powerful too, to the point where even with us in our 20s, we're having a party in this haunted location, and we're telling the people that it was haunted, and they're like, no, it's not. I said, here, come here, and come into this room and tell me that you don't see anything strange. And then the light switch started turning on and off on its own with a click, 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 click. And they're like,
nice.
Oh, no. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is real. And then the stereo, which was an old knob turner, it wasn't one of these electronic things. It started spinning back and forth, and that ended the party.
To me, that's just getting the party started.
I know. Me and my bud were like, well, where are you going? They're like, hell no. And I'm like, get on. But no, that did end the party. All of the ladies got out of there rather quickly, and of course, then all the guys were like, "Heck, we're out of here."
Yeah, good times.
Oh, the 80s.
I was young in the 80s, but still, that's when we had the most active houses that I lived in. We had a farmhouse, the one I was telling you about. There's been some more paranormal activity in that one, but I can't speak too much about it because one of the gentlemen that lived with us in that house will be on the show here in a few weeks. So I don't want to give any spoilers. I've known this guy since I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. He was good friends with my parents. But one of the other houses that we lived in the 80s when I was little was one where, like we were talking about, with stairs. My cousin was living with us at the time, and he was going to one of the big tech schools for diesel mechanics. And they used to have the old Chilton's manuals. Well, him and his buddy were sitting at the table one night studying and having a beer, obviously. He's originally from Wisconsin, so that's the drink of choice. It is what it is. But literally, this Chilton manual lifts up, scoots over, and goes right down to the ground. That was the last night that my cousin ever slept in that house. I'm gonna try to get him to come on because he had a couple other experiences in that house too. But that was one of the ones that stands out the most because literally he would not come back in and sleep. He slept in his truck for I think 3 or 4 days, and then moved in with a buddy of his from school. He was done.
All right.
So, have you had one of your oh crap moments yet in the paranormal field? Something that just totally blew your mind?
Ago, I mean, actually, because before my mother abandoned me, the things that she would bring home or bring to home were the most terrifying things of my life. After that, everything else paled completely because she actively wanted to demon conjure.
Okay.
So, when you see things like that growing up and you walk in and your mother's levitating the kitchen table, and you grow up different.
Yeah. Yeah. And you grow up different when you know all this stuff is possible.
Oh, dude.
It opens your eyes up and you go, oh, it's not just stories. It's not just available to be done in Hollywood. It really opens your eyes up and gives you a whole different thought on life. Ever since a child, I've always believed that, spirit's all around you. Death's all around you. There's no escaping it. So the spirit world is literally laid right over ours.
I agree with that.
And I think that's why we get so much activity. It just is a matter of how thin the veil is at that moment and how much strength or energy they have to interact with us at that moment.
And then, of course, the big question is always going to be, what exactly are you? And that's the question I don't think we're ever going to get answered until we ourselves pass on to the next realm.
Yep.
Then we'll know.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, I've always been taught that on the other side, you have the gift of knowledge, of knowing, and that when we're brought over on this side, we go through the veil of forgetfulness. And by going through that, yeah, it might be easier to progress here, but you don't have that backup knowledge for the most part. Some of those that have special abilities might pick up on it more or might know more than just average Joe. But that's just because they're a little more in tune to things. So the more you become in tune, the more knowledge you receive. The more you're worthy of, I guess you could say, maybe.
Good point.
So,
I would probably say, thinking back on it, Bobby, that in the last 5 years, let's go with that.
okay.
The strangest thing that we saw, all 5 of us at the same time, was in the Ritz Theater in Rensselaer, Indiana, where we had an actual shadow man go across the stage that had to be 12 feet in height.
Okay.
And it literally, the entire length of the stage, just strolled right across in front of all of us and had us all looking at each other like, did that really? And we're all like, oh, yeah. Well, being new to it, of course, we didn't have 2 cameras placed. We had 1 on the stage pointed at us to get our reactions. So we did not get the shadow going across the stage. You saw all 5 of us going, holy hell.
Yeah. Things we learn.
Well, that was a very interesting location that my dentist as a child, Gordon Cloco was his name. And he bought that when he retired to be his little pet project in retirement. And he passed. And it was his wife that actually contacted me and said, we have activity and I just want to make sure that Gordon's okay. So we came down as a team and investigated it there. And lo and behold, he did identify himself on site. So
nice.
It was so different because, you don't know what you're going to get. And then when you go back and you look at your evidence on the film, and when we asked who was with us tonight, we actually heard a response but couldn't make it out live. And when we played it back, it was very drawn out. It was slow. It was good.
Okay.
And And once we finally got that, as we played it back, it's like, oh my goodness, he literally was there. So Nancy was happy to know that he was there. He didn't appear, or make any indication that he was upset. I think he was simply watching out for Nancy.
Very well could be. A lot of times we do stick around and watch over our loved ones.
Yep.
And some believe they become part of our guide team. I'm not sure about that, but we'll find out when we get older. But I do know, like, there's been times where, prime example, years ago, I was sitting in Schwanke County Jail up in the trustee pod, and I was like right in between waking up and, sleep, in between the two. And I literally felt whiskers across my cheek, and I smelled Pierre Cardin cologne.
Nice.
Well, my father, he would shave in the morning, and he'd be scruffy by afternoon. It was like one of them type of guys. You just, 5 o'clock shadow was every day at 5 o'clock. And that was the only cologne that he wore was Pierre Cardin. And to smell that in a jail that smells like, ball sacks and dirty feet, you get that smell out of nowhere. And then to have that rough rub against the cheek, and you sit up and everybody in the pod is sleeping.
Right.
How do you explain that? It's
there's no explanation. There's just acceptance.
Exactly. At that point, I go, okay, I know Dad's with me. I know we're going to get through this. Better things on the horizon. So,
it just hit me that you were talking earlier about letting your defenses down to try to feel what is there. Yep. I generally don't let my defenses down very often, but the last time I did was at that mass murder site that I'm doing that documentary with. I was told that from Mike Alsep that on property that he was getting a vision of a young boy in that area. Well, when I was on site, I was with a medium there, and she said that she felt a very sad young boy. And so I said, okay, I'm going to drop everything I got and see if I can feel him, because I'm not feeling it. And I let it go. I dropped everything, and it hit me like a tidal wave. And I literally started bawling. I mean, here I am 60 years old, and when that hit me, I wasn't 60 years old in me. I was a little boy in absolute grief, bawling, and I couldn't stop. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when you let them down, if you ain't ready for it, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Very overwhelming, because they're going to give you the energy sometimes of the last moments of their life, what they're feeling, what they experience. Some of them, I've had locations where I walked in a room and next thing you know, my head feels like it's splitting open.
Oh, yeah.
And you literally got to go, hey, step back. This is not my energy. Back up for my force. Something to let them know that back up some. And once they start backing up, it gets lesser and lesser. So that's, why I tell you, hey, bubble up, shield up, be smart when you let it down.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you ain't ready for it, it will overwhelm you and it will take you over. I've had other locations out in the woods. I walked up to a tree once. There's this patch of woods. We're out investigating a property, and we're actually looking for evidence of Bigfoot. Well, there's this huge ring of trees that was, I don't want to say they were dead, but they almost looked like they were dying. But it was this big circle, and they're all like kind of deformed. Well, the biggest one there, I kind of walked up to and put my hand on the psychometry that, and I could just feel like a wave of emotions coming over my face, like sadness.
Yeah.
Almost like you'd watched your best friends die off one by one, and you're stuck watching that. And it's crazy, because when you do let that down, you don't know what you're going to get.
Ever. That's why I have not done it very often at all. I usually have it up pretty tight.
Yeah.
I wish I had better control. That's one thing that I really wish, is if I could control that better, I probably would be able to experience more. But unfortunately, I leave that wall up. It's been my wall of protection for decades, and it's kept the bad out. So,
well, I'll tell you what, you got some things in plan for me. When we work together, we're going to work on that with you a little bit.
I'm into
You know,
that.
I've been blessed with some really amazing mediums and teachers over the years to work with me. Again, like I said, I don't always let it down, but to have the opportunity to be able to let it down when you want to, it's a good thing to have because sometimes you
I've
do need
watched
it.
powerful people let it down and get taken nearly to their knees almost immediately, depending on where we're at.
Yeah.
So I know how powerful that it can overwhelm people, especially
Oh,
people with great abilities.
yep. Oh, yeah. You know, I've gone weak in the knees in the past. Like I said, I've had headaches. You know, you feel things in your chest. It all depends on what they're trying to portray to you. But in
Right.
some of it, that sometimes they're just trying to get your attention. Let them know that, hey, we're here still. You know, talk to me, communicate with me, give me a voice.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of places that don't get investigated, that spirit don't get acknowledged because people don't believe in the paranormal. So when something happens, they try to explain it away.
That's true too.
So,
Dial is always first.
you know, exactly. So now we're talking about locations that got brought up. What would be your dream location to go to anywhere in the world?
Oh, probably Dracula's castle.
That's a good one.
That would probably be the one.
Yeah. Mine, it would have to be Alcatraz, but I want to do a 30-day lockdown.
Oh,
And,
far out. That would be something.
yep. You know, and for me, the reason why for that is there's two elements there. You have the fact that it was a prison, you know, and then you have the fact that back when AIM took it over, the island was flooded with Native Americans. We took that island over.
Okay.
So now you have the native side of things. You have the criminal element from the prison. I think with my abilities in my past, I could tap into both sides. And I think it would make a very interesting experience for myself.
But I don't think they're going to let you have it for 30 days.
Oh no. No. I'm gonna need Tesla money for that.
Yeah,
We'll have to find old Elon and get him on board with the
there
paranormal.
you go. Well, wouldn't
Yeah.
it be something to just have 1% of his money? Good golly.
Right? I'd be retired and
We all would.
you would see me everywhere. I'd book every location in a row and just go on a road trip.
Right on. Just
You
to see
know?
what you can see.
Yep. You know, having that opportunity this summer with Gwen to travel by the seat of our pants and investigate with really no set deadlines or nothing set up really per se on the route was amazing. It was an amazing feel. It was freedom, you know, and that's a feeling that I think everyone should have a chance to experience, and especially those of us in the paranormal field, because getting to see the different locations day in and day out and different people and working with them and all the other teams and investigators, the experience alone, you know, I can't, with what I learned to what I experienced to the friendships I made,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it was a blast. I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. I have met some wonderful friends now. I mean, so close that almost like brothers that I
Yeah,
never would have met if it wasn't for this.
definitely. Yeah,
And,
I have a few that I do call brother now that I met
and
through the
I have
paranormal.
met some very interesting people. All right, case in point, Dacre Stoker. All right, Bram Stoker's great nephew.
Yep.
I ran into him at the infamous DeadCon, where no one knew who this man was. So I literally was walking around, and they had him stuck in the furthest end of the convention in a tiny little table, you know, and it says continuing the works of Bram Stoker. And that instantly was a magnet to me because I love Dracula. Walked
Right.
on over and I said, "All right, sir, how are you related?" And he explained it, you know, that who he was the great nephew, and that his father came to him with a box and said, "This was your great uncle's, and no one in the family wants it." And he opened the box, and it was all of the unfinished Dracula novels and so forth that he was still writing. So
Wow.
David took them on, and he's now finishing the stories.
That is awesome.
So, I mean, just because I've been in this genre and the people I've been able to meet, I now, I know Dacre Stoker, and he knows me, which is sort of weird. But and then I went on to find out he's like a 6-time Olympian.
Nice.
Who would have thought? But he was one of the Winter Olympians that would ski and shoot and whatever they call that.
Ski and shoot, I think. I don't know.
You ski for
As I've always called it.
a while, and you get back up and continue on. But that's what he did. He competed several times, and then he coached the Canadian team for several years.
Nice.
So it's just the people you meet. You never know what it's going to be.
Oh yeah,
Danny Trejo. I got to meet Danny Trejo through this.
Is he really that short?
He is the tiniest little man, and my Jessica touched his butt.
Uh-oh. Did she touch it, or did she just touch it?
We came up for a photo and a hello with him, and he says, "Come on up here," and she put her arm around him, and he's so short, and my Jessica's a tall lady with long arms and long legs, and her hand sort of dropped down his back, ended up on his butt, and she jumped, and she goes, "Oh my God, I just touched Danny Trejo's butt." And he turns and he looks at her and he laughs and he rubs her back and he says, "That's all right, honey. I like you too."
Surprised she didn't steal it. I'm surprised he didn't steal her from you that night.
Oh, dude, it was hilarious. And then he signed a machete for me, so I was quite pleased.
That's awesome. That's cool. Oh my God, I touched Trejo's butt.
Oh, it was funny because my Jess, of course, was wearing a sequined jacket, and just flashy, shiny, and
Right.
It was nice.
Hey, he liked it, obviously.
He did. So I'm blessed. My Jessica she's an attractive lady.
Let's see. Biathlon.
But
That's what they call it. Yeah. Thank you, Lee. Lee's amazing. Oh, yeah. Hey, Nancy. So I know we've been kind of just chatting. I want to say hi to Kimmy Corbs, Lee, Mike, everyone in the chat. Sorry I haven't been acknowledging you guys, but I've been really into this conversation here.
And I'm doing it on my phone, so I can't see. I can just see little pop-ups every now and then, but I can't read what they are. So the next time I do this, I'll have something bigger so I can actually read it.
Yeah. We'll definitely have you on again, especially after if we do some projects together.
We got some projects going on. I am allowed to say a few things about them because I did speak to the person that we're dealing with. So coming up later in the year, folks, Bobbi is going to join me with some other people with abilities, and we're going to have some shows to watch later on in the year. So hopefully everything will work out nicely, and we'll get to bring you some content that you've never seen it in this way before.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
I am too. When you get special people together investigating and everyone is special, we should have some fun.
Exactly. At least, if anything, it's going to be some fun shenanigans.
Oh, yeah.
If it turns out to be the next blockbuster, great. But either way, I'm with good people, hanging out, having a good time. Makes it worth it for me.
And the best thing about it is everyone is genuine. We don't have to embellish anything because all of you have true abilities and they'll show.
Yep. And Mikey Elsip, I'm looking forward to getting with you again, buddy.
Yep.
I love working with Mike. Me and him, two peas in a pod when we get in tune together, watch out.
I love it.
Things pop back and forth.
Absolutely. So, but we're going to have some fun this year. Hopefully we'll be bouncing around the Midwest a bit and get some things together and everyone can watch our adventures later on.
Yeah. So definitely. Well, let's see. We're getting down to our last 5 minutes. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you and get your equipment, wants to see any of your investigation's been on, or just kind of keep tabs on you, how do they get a hold of you? What do they do? Shameless
the
plug
best
time.
place to do it is look me up on Facebook, Mike Schwanke on Facebook. You see what I look like. Reach out through Facebook Messenger is always great for me because I will always respond to you. I only am doing basically the cons with my toys is where you're buying my toys. But if you do reach out personally, I can get you one of my toys when needed. I don't advertise them on a site or anything like that. It's just, I got them. If you want some of them, just reach out. So, but Facebook is usually the easiest place to get me.
All right. And you mentioned earlier you had a YouTube channel?
I do. And the YouTube channel there, Spirit Hunters Team. That's where our adventures are, as you call them, shenanigans. We had a couple of years worth of adventures on there with all my folks that I was with. And hopefully we'll be back together again here for too long. We've had a lot of us getting a little older, had a lot of sickness, unfortunately cancer and everything else propped up. So we fight what we have to fight, from heart disease to cancer to sometimes even when you're disabled because you got blown up in the military. All of us have our problems.
Yep.
So
we all have our own mountains to climb over.
We do. So again, folks that are watching, we're just like you, just regular folks. All we do is breathe the same air and love you the way you love us.
Exactly. I seen Rick Wade popped into the comments there for a second. Hey, Rick. Have to get you on the show here in the future, buddy.
Yep.
Get to know each other a little more. Looking forward to seeing him this summer.
Yep.
So, well, we're getting down to the final minutes. I don't want to keep going because I know it's really late out there in Eastern time. So, yeah, they're an hour ahead of us. So I try not to run the shows too much over time. But if you like what you see, enjoy what you're listening to, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Road Paranormal, to All Access Television. Spread the word. We got some good shows out here.
For inviting me. Thank you both so very much. I enjoyed the heck out of this.
Thank you for coming on. I'm glad I was able to get you on. I look forward to get you on some more in the future so we can continue this conversation. Last thing I want to tell everyone is that get out there and live your dreams. Don't just sit here and dream your life away. Life's too short. We never know when our last breath is going to be taken, so get out there and live them. Don't wait till tomorrow because tomorrow's not promised.
Never is.
Exactly. So, all right, Gwen.
Just to reinforce that, and the last word, my wife got cancer at 39, and it took her in 13 months.
Yep. So, yeah, get out there and live your dreams, guys.
Yep.
Don't go to your final resting place going, I wish I would have. I wish I could have. Make it happen. All right. So remember, say prayers for little Wyatt. Here's one of my coworkers, his son, who's only 4 years old, was diagnosed a few weeks ago with stomach cancer. So please, if you could,
Lord, watch over him.
tonight in your prayers, say a prayer for him. Keep praying for him and his family. Hopefully, he has a healthy recovery and they're able to make it through this together. So, anything else you'd like to say, Mike?
Just again, thanks a lot for having me on. Very much looking forward to seeing you here in a few weeks. And we're going to have some wonderful adventures this year.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Take me away, Gwen.